Okay, I'm gonna start off the West predictions, patterns, whatever. Here with the number 8 seed, the New Orleans Pelicans, and I noticed they were actually founded in 2002, which could be a 22 reference. Um, but they were also they used to be called the Hornets at one point. And what's interesting about that is the Monstars. Two of the Monstars were actually they got their talent from Charlotte Hornet players. So these guys were New Orleans Hornets, and then Charlotte actually went back to the Hornets in 2014. But just kind of pointing that out. Also, it says the Charlotte Hornets name history and records from 1988 to 2002. Um, but anyway, let's look at the roster here. Um, they also finished with 45 wins at the end of the regular season. That's what they made the playoffs with. So there's a 45 with them. I honestly don't think they're going to win. But let's see here. I can't even find the roster. Here we go. They actually have, well, Anthony Davis, their best player, is the Michael Jordan number. So they do have the 23, and they don't have a Monstar on their team. And they do have a 1 and a 10, so Bugs and Lola, but they don't have Bill Murray, they don't have a 22 or a Daffy Duck number 2. Um, oh, I could go a little more in depth with it. I mean, they have a 44. Anthony Davis is actually 22 years old, born on 3/11. Um, but I'm not really going to go into there because I honestly think that another team's going to win it all. So, and I think maybe this series between they're probably going to win at least 2 games. I think against Golden State, but I think Golden State's most likely going to win it all, and I will show you why in a little bit here. So then we have the Dallas Mavericks. They finished the season with 50 wins, so if they win it all, they would have 66, which 66 goes with the 49 because it's 49 years ago. Um, the only other team that does that is the Bulls, and a couple interesting things happened in the Bulls game tonight that I was watching, and I'm just going to make a complete separate video of that. But anyway, let's look at the Dallas Mavericks. They're the only team with it's their 35th season that's in the playoffs right now, and 35 goes with it's 149, which is the flux capacitor. I mean prime numbers at least. 149 is the 35th prime number. Talked about that a little bit. I've seen it a lot. Um, I just don't think they're gonna win either. They just haven't really like bragged them up enough in the media. I mean, there's just no stories really that are that big about them. I mean, I just don't think they're gonna win. But let's check out their players and their roster. They don't have a Michael Jordan reference. They also do not have a 22, a Bill Murray, but they do have a 1 and a 2, but that's it. So just another reason why, I guess, like I said, I'm just basing this off of Space Jam and whatnot. So I'm going to move on. I mean, they just don't have a whole lot with them. And so we'll go to the Spurs here, and I'm just going to shorten this up and look at their rosters a little bit. I got a lot to talk about other teams, so the Spurs don't have a Monstar. They don't have a Jordan. They only have a 22 and a 1 and a 2. And they also have a 55 and a 33, which is significant, but not to do with the Space Jam theme. So, all right. So the Portland Trailblazers, it's their 45th season. I know I made a video a while back about these guys, thinking they might win it because they have a lot of Rose references as well. Like they used to play in the Rose Garden. I had a whole video. I didn't even go back and reference it. I should have, but the reason I didn't was because they have Damian Lillard is a number 0, so he's a Monstar. So maybe they might make it to the finals, but if they do, they're not going to win just because of that. That's what I'm basing it off of. who knows, you know? But they do have a bunch of significant things though. Like they have Batum, who's number 88. Um, they have, let's see here, they have a Michael Jordan. They actually have a Bugs Bunny, a Daffy Duck. Well, he's not even playing though. They're just missing a 22, a Bill Murray. And I'm not counting them out just because they have a lot of stuff with them that has to do with Valentines. I'm not gonna talk about it because I have multiple times. But let's check out the Michael Jordan guy, Alan Crabb here, and he is 23. He is number 23, and he was born on 4/9, which is 49. I thought that was kind of interesting. Um, so who knows? That's why I don't know. You can't really count him out. That's a Michael Jordan with a 49 reference with him. So I guess who knows? And when I say count them out, I mean only in the West, because I think that if they go to the finals, they're not going to win. Um, anyway, I'm gonna move on to another team because the last video was so long. I'm just I gotta sleep sometime. Then I don't know why I skipped the Memphis Grizzlies. But there's not that much that I really looked up to it. They honestly they don't have any references to anything of Space Jam either. Hardly. They do have a Monstar, and his last name's Green, which is a 49 reference, but they don't have a Michael Jordan, so that just to me counts them out. I honestly think that there's whoever's going to win is going to have a Michael Jordan reference. So I mean, just like the Masters, the Jordan whatever, Jordan Spieth or whatever, won the Masters as Justin Rose made a big comeback, or not really big, but they were kind of building it up, thinking that he might do awesome or whatever, him and Mickelson. But anyway, I'm just gonna move on, shorten this up a lot. We got the Clippers next. It's the Los Angeles Clippers' 45th season as well. So there's a 45. We have, let's see here. They have a DeAndre Jordan. So I don't know, DeAndre Jordan. That's their Jordan reference. But they also have Glenn Davis, who's a Monstar. But they have a whole bunch of players here. They have Matt Barnes is 22, and Bill Murray. So they have the same initials, even just reversed. BM and whatever, Matt B, MB. Let's see. The only thing they're missing is the Daffy Duck. I don't even know why. Spencer Hawes, I clicked on him, and he's born on the 118th day of the year of 1988. So 288 references. Number 22 for the Clippers, even though it has the Lakers picture here, is Matt Barnes. And Matt Barnes, well, he went to UCLA, which they had the Kevin Looney guy this year. But he was also drafted in 2002, so 22. He is 22, and the reason I'm talking about him is because they just had an article about his son dressed up like Steph Curry, and then he was mad about it or whatever. So just pointing that out, they're actually they brought him up in the media, so look for him to maybe do something. I don't know, but like I said, 22, drafted in 2002 in the second round. Also, they could maybe do since Doc Rivers is their coach, they maybe have like some type of like "What's up, Doc" kind of theme. I was just thinking, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to, but I don't know very many people named Doc. They also are a red team, and red has to do with Valentines and flowers and roses. That could be something. That's why the Blazers too. But I'm gonna move on. All right, and then we have the Houston Rockets, who is also red. Like I said, I just don't know Like I'm going by a Space Jam theme. That's what I'm talking about in these videos. So anyway, the Rockets, they they don't have a Jordan reference as far as I can see. But and they don't have a Monstar either. So that's kind of interesting. But I guess they have a Bugs Bunny, whatever, Daffy Duck. I guess one thing I found interesting was that the same year that Michael Jordan came out of retirement wearing number 45 was in the 1994, the Mirror of 49 95 season. And it was also the NBA's 49th season. And the Houston Rockets beat the Orlando Magic 4-0 in the NBA Finals. Also, what they fail to tell you here in this Wikipedia thing is that when Jordan returned, he actually returned on the 66th game of the season. And 1966 to this year is 49 years. And then he was wearing number 45. He played for 23 games, or 22 games, wearing number 45. And on the 23rd game, he switched back to number 23. Another interesting thing is, like, the whole James Harden being in the MVP thing, the MVP race or whatever. And like I said, the MVP of the season doesn't usually win, so we'll see if James Harden gets it. Anyway, David Robinson was the season MVP this year. And David Robinson was born on August 6th, 1965, and he is 49 years old right now. And of course, August 6th is the 218th day of the year. 2/18 is February 18, which is the 49th day of the year. So honestly, I don't think the Rockets are going to win it. They could maybe mimic this season. I thought the same thing with the Duke Kentucky thing, and they didn't do that. Let's move on to the Golden State Warriors. I honestly think they're going to win it all. They're a huge 49 team. They're from San Francisco. Just all kinds of stuff. I've made a ton of stuff about them, and they just keep proving me that they're going to win. So hold on. And actually, never mind. Before I get on to that, I want to talk about Corey Brewer. He's actually a Houston Rocket. He's number 33 on the Rockets. And I don't know if anybody watched the game the other night, but he made 3 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, and the announcers could not stop talking about it. They were like, 3 threes, 3 threes. They said it I bet they said it 5 or 6 times. And it was like 2 minutes later, they were still talking about it. And then he is number 33, and they couldn't stop talking about how he hit 3 threes. And if you go watch Zachary K. Hubbard's videos, he talks a lot about the number 33, and especially in basketball here, and how it's usually they incorporate the number 33. It's always, there's a ton of stuff he has on it. So definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I still don't think these guys are going to win, but they do incorporate 33 a lot. You'll actually notice it if you start watching, just really watching for it. But they also, I want to look at my Twitter because they mentioned a whole bunch of 2s right after that as well. Yeah, I didn't even write it down. I remember tweeting about it because I thought it was funny. But anyway, okay, it's even better than I thought. He hit 3 threes. He's number 33. The Rockets had hit 10 threes, and when they hit the 10th three, it gave them 103 points. So 10-3, 103. And then right after that, then they said, then he makes a 3-point play. He drove in, made a layup, and got fouled, and then made the free throw. So he made a 3-point play, and then the announcers told you about how he was involved in a 3-team trade. And then like a minute later, they said, now 2 days of rest before game 2 on Tuesday, then 2 more days of rest. I mean, it was just so ridiculous. Yeah, I wish I could play a clip, but I can't find one. So okay, so moving on to the Warriors here, who I honestly think they've been bragging them up so much. I honestly just think they're going to win it all. They have a lot of stuff pointing to them that I think they're going to win. Oh, I mean, there's just so much 49 and just so many references that have been made that coincide with them. Like Steve Kerr, he played with Michael Jordan. He is 49 years old. They had 67 wins. The whole Bill Murray was mentioning 67 a lot. Let's just look at the roster. They have a Michael Jordan, whose last name is Green, which Green is 49. He also played for Michigan State in college, and Michigan State had the whole Valentines theme, and where they had Valentine who made the game winner on Valentine's Day. Then they went farther in the Final Four or in the tournament, I guess, than anybody ever really expected him to go. And he's the Michael Jordan number. He's even born on the 63rd day of the year. Yeah, Michael Jordan had a bunch of 63 and stuff around him from a long time ago. I made a video on that. Let's see here. It also talks about how he was the Big Ten Sixth Man of the Year. And I talked about the Lou in the sixth the other night, and with Lou Williams for the Raptors. And today they actually announced that he is the sixth man of the year this year. So I thought that was kind of funny. He was also the 35th pick, and 35 goes with 149, and they've all been connected. So let's go back to the roster here. And they don't have a Monstar, they don't have a 0, so that another reason why they could win, because they have a 23 but no 0. They also have like Steph Curry, born in '88, all kinds of stuff with him I talked about. Klay Thompson, number 11, was the 11th pick in 2011, I think it was. Well, let me click on that really quick, make sure. Yeah, 11th pick, 2011 is number 11. So, I mean, I could have went more in depth with this, but it just takes so long. So I'm just gonna my prediction for the NBA Finals is gonna be the Golden State Warriors and the Chicago Bulls. And what's interesting about that is even earlier I was watching the Chicago Bulls, and at 7 minutes and 7 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler did something. He made a basket or whatever, and they paused it or whatever, and like the time stopped, and then they showed the audience, and they zoomed in on this guy, and he has a sign up that says, "My first game since 1966." So that's the 49 reference, and that's because the Bulls were established in it's their 49th season. So 1966 was their first season. But even so, why are they zooming in on that? You know? Okay, well, first off, I just want to look up Jimmy Butler really quick, because he was the one when it stopped on, and he's been bragged up a whole bunch. Hope I'm spelling that right. Oh, that's awesome. This ain't even the right Jimmy Butler. But this, what? Oh, wow. Okay, this is confusing. I don't know how you spell Jimmy Butler then. Hold on one second. Well, anyway, what are the odds of this here? I just I typed in Jimmy Butler to look for the Chicago Bulls Jimmy Butler, and it takes me to Jimmy Butler, the actor, who's born on 2/20. I've talked about that with the Kurt Cobain, whatever. Even just wow. And then he died on February 18th, the 49th day of the year in 1945. And he was 23 years old, Michael Jordan. Like, what in the world? This is messed up. Hold on. Let me try to find actual Jimmy, the guy I'm looking for. That makes me really wonder now. Well, this is the Jimmy Butler that I was looking for. But honestly, I don't see that much with him. I don't see any, like, I don't know. I see 7.7 rebounds. That's what I was going to talk about, was the 7:07 left in the game. Let's see here. Anyway, I'm just going to move on. That's pretty strange stuff, though. But the reason I was talking about that was because I looked up that team or whatever, the first year of the Chicago Bulls, and it says they were coached by Johnny Red Kerr. So then you have Steve Kerr, who is the coach for the uh, man, I can't even think right now. Steve Kerr, the coach for the Warriors, who played with Michael Jordan. This guy died on the first day of Lupercalia in 2009. His nickname is Red, and Red adds up to 27, and it's a 27 year. He was even drafted in the NBA in 1954, which is your love reference. Anyway, if you scroll down here, you find out that it was the first season of the Bulls. They earned their first victory on October 15th, 1966. October 15th, there are 77 days left until the end of the year. And then like I'm saying, they stopped it at 7:07, and that guy had the sign about his first game since 1966. They scored 104 points. That's the 10-4. That is October 4th, a huge 88 reference. Also, it could be 52 and 52. Michael Jordan is 52 years old. The best player in the game that night was Guy Rogers, and he scored 37 points. 37. Let's click on him. So now this is where it kind of gets interesting to me, I guess. This guy, when he was drafted, or it says territorial, selected by the Philadelphia Warriors. So the Warriors were in Philadelphia before they were in San Francisco. But this guy also, it says here, on February 14th, 2014, so Valentine's Day, Rogers was announced as a 2014 inductee to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. So it was announced on Valentine's, and then he formally entered on August 8th, 2014. 8/8, he was formally entered, and they announced it on Valentine's Day. That's pretty funny. So then it goes on to tell you 3 days later, the Bulls became 2-0 by defeating the San Francisco Warriors. And I don't know. It's just kind of weird that they even put that in there, I guess, their first 3 wins. But so I decided to look up the list of NBA champions just because I was curious as to, like, who won in 1966. And I know I talked about that in a previous video, but I didn't know as much as I do now at the time. But let's see here. The Lakers actually won in 1966, but the San Francisco Warriors won in 1967, which actually that season starts in 1966. So technically, in a way, the Warriors won 49 years ago, but I mean it was really 48. But the season started 49 years ago. Also, this year they had 67 wins, and they won in 1967. I've seen 64 a whole bunch of times as I've been researching too, and I couldn't figure out what it is. I thought maybe you flip the 6 and then it'd be the mirror of 49 or whatever. But look who won that year: the San Francisco Warriors. And then the very first. This says BAA, but it actually is considered NBA. It's considered the first NBA championship. And the Chicago Bulls lost to the Philadelphia Warriors. That's pretty interesting. So, I don't know. I just honestly think it's going to be these two teams playing each other. And they have a Monstar. Even though they have all the Jordan references, they have a Monstar, and these guys don't. And that's who I think is going to win it all. Also, the BAA is 2-1-1. And we've seen that like tons of times, like 1-1-2 and 2-1-1 when the 22s. So who knows? Okay, so I'm just gonna end it there. Like I said, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I don't even care. But they're running with themes. Like I said, there's still a lot of factors depending on the things they're running with, articles that they put in your face, so you kind of can tell where they're going with it. Also, they haven't even announced the MVP yet, which is a huge factor, which I think will cancel out some teams. Anyway, like I said, just gonna end it off there, and yeah, have a great night.